Hey guys, it's Matt here to do my review on the big crossover Batman and Spawn, or should I say Spawn and Batman, whichever you want to go by, just saying. And it's a one-shot story that's canon to the main Spawn books, but also canon to Frank Miller's Batman books. So, yeah, really good stuff on that. And I do like Frank Miller and his Batman books, and along with other Batman stories as well. I'm not a Frank Miller fanboy. I do think he has his ups and downs, just like any other writer. But anywho, let's get started on the fucking comic book. So the comic book opens up where we see fucking Batman investigating a case that he's in, and pretty much he finds gloves, pretty much power gloves in a way you want to call it, and he gets attacked by a cyborg robot who pretty much is trying to attack him, and Batman just does everything he can to take care of it, puts on the gloves and just pretty much beat the crap out of it. After that, after he defeats it, he grabs the head, and it's a human, and it pretty much tells Batman, I can't feel anything, I can't feel anything, and he just pretty much goes haywire. And after that whole thing goes forward, we go back to where Batman's at the cave. He's pretty much figuring out what he needs to do, and pretty much he goes to New York and he hears about Spawn. And it's funny enough when he talks to Alfred and the way he responds to Alfred is just. I really like that a lot, but besides all that stuff, he goes to New York, and honestly, I love crossovers. I really do. And I really loved every bit of this crossover. Anyway, you have this beautiful shot of Spawn, and pretty much you see two thugs running away, and then they bump into fucking Spawn, and yeah, shit goes real, and pretty much he used his magic and just burned them alive, and he pretty much said, send my regards to Satan for me. And oh man, they just burn alive. And then after that, Batman comes in and he pretty much beats the shit out of Spawn. And no joke, he really does. And honestly, the way I think about it, I think Batman would just try to stop Spawn on burning those two victims, and then eventually talked a bit, and then if there was confrontation, they would fight then. But it really is just a one-time crossover, and both of them beat the shit out of each other, and pretty much you have it where Spawn goes into a laboratory and Spawn takes care of it with not even a fucking problem. Hey, you didn't do that shit with fucking Batman. But anyway, he grabs the fucking gun and he incinerates the fucking robot. Then he meets up with this fucking woman who gives a shit. She's really not really important with the story, because she's just there to pretty much push the story forward, and nobody gives a shit about her, because honestly, her character in this book is just whatever, if you ask me. Anyway, Batman and Spawn get prep time to enough where they get ready for their fight. You also see Spawn pretty much talking to a fucking bum who pretty much gets some advice for his Spawn to get ready for the battle. And Batman comes in, and the two of them pretty much beat the fucking shit out of each other. And you see the two of them just go butt heads. And I really like that a lot. It just shows you how much they're truly strength, because Spawn is an assassin and he's also a military expert. So this should be no problem for Spawn to fight Batman. But I mean, it's really good. It's really good. And when they beat the shit out of each other, they come to fruition that, yeah, they were basically set up. And a bunch of fucking robots beating the shit out of Spawn. And then Spawn just incinerates all these robots. And pretty much Spawn just gets restored on Batman. Like, he restores Batman back to his prime. And pretty much after that whole thing went off, and they pretty much come to terms of what is going on, and they pretty much team up to fight that fucking one woman, which honestly tried to kill yours truly, both Spawn and Batman. But besides all that stuff, you see the woman who pretty much is all making a party, and both Batman and Spawn pretty much literally take care every single robot and completely decimate everything. And Spawn grabs his gun and decimate the fucking bitch. And then after that, Batman tries to at least somewhat save her. It doesn't work. And after that whole thing goes forward, they pretty much come to terms on everything. And they say their farewells. And before Batman goes, he sends a batarang at Spawn. And pretty much that's why Spawn pretty much had to get the shoelace, because he got a batarang from Batman. And this is canon to the Spawn comic books. And I really enjoyed this book a lot. I mean, granted, it's Frank Miller, and I think McFarlane pretty much kind of toned down the craziness on Frank Miller, because he can go batshit crazy. I mean, this fucking guy literally just goes so ballistic that I feel like, I mean, certain writers like McFarlane or Scott Snyder really have to kind of tone down the craziness, because there's so many things in comic books like the Batman, Frank Miller Strikes Again, Batman books. There's also the whole RoboCop comic books that just go ballistic mode. I mean, this is the fucking guy that just makes the craziest, most insane shit that you could literally say only an insane person would write this shit. That's how much Frank Miller is that fucked up. I mean, this is a guy literally just smokes ants and just literally thinks it's the fucking greatest thing since sliced bread. That's Frank Miller. That's what I think of Frank Miller. Anyway, it was a good crossover. I wish we got another Batman and Spawn crossover. I think it would pretty much be one of the highest comic books of that year, if there ever was another one. In fact, speaking about that, there was a drawing that McFarlane made, and he did talked about that there was another crossover between Batman and Spawn. And I really hope that maybe one day, if and only if Image gets the rights of DC Comics, that McFarlane would do yours truly, Batman and Spawn together. We'll see how things go. I think it would be really cool seeing DC be under the hands of yours truly, Image. But we'll see. We'll see. Anywho, guys, I'll see you guys later. In a scale of 1 to 10, I'm going to give it a solid 9 out of 10. Great stuff, great book, and overall, amazing.